What's up, everyone? It's Scotty with Money Investing. So markets here, once again, just trading very much sideways. We didn't see a lot of price action from the market because Jerome Powell was about as vague as it gets. And he should really be running for office. He should really be a politician because there was a lot of skirting around the questions. He was not specific at all. And I'm going to break down exactly what was discussed during that meeting and how the markets basically responded to that. The Dow Jones, with its 13th consecutive day with a green, with a gain. So that's a very, very strong move to the upside since 1987. So there's a lot to unpack. Meta earnings came out after hours as well. The stock popped over 6%. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. As always, if you enjoy this video, find it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. Link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below. There is going to be a 16% annual discount that's available up until the end of this month. And I also want to point out the actual course, the options course that's available for everyone to sign up on. And the coupon code LAUNCH is also going to expire at the end of this month. And that gives you a 50% discount as well. So this right here, again, is going to be that 50% discount on the brand new options course that I just launched, coupon code LAUNCH. And this right here is going to be that bundle if you want to take advantage of that as well. All three courses, fundamental, technical, and options, 50% off as well. These discounts will go away in the next 5 days, so they will expire. And then, of course, they will be back to the original price. And of course, we've got a brand new lower price tier for our Discord, just the private chat, the market updates and analysis, and of course, a lot of ad-free supported content and benefits and videos and lectures as well. So that's also going to be available for anyone who wants to join. So this right here was the state of the market. The Dow Jones rallying over 23 basis points. So once again, a little bit of rotation into value and more Dow Jones companies here continues to take place. We have the S&P flat and the Nasdaq slightly lower, with the 2,800 stocks here pushing higher, with over 3,300 stocks declining on the day. So Dow rises for a 13th straight day, posting its best winning streak since 1987. So this is, again, a very, very long-lasting win streak for the Dow Jones. And I think 14 consecutive green days is going to make history. I could be wrong, but I pretty much remember reading something like that where if you take a look, so Dow Jones added 82 points, extended its rally to 13 days in advance. It hasn't achieved since January of 1987. So if the index rises 14 straight days on Thursday, it will match the longest streak ever going back as far as 1897. Okay, so if you actually see 14 straight days on Thursday, if you see a green day tomorrow for the Dow Jones, that would be the longest winning streak going back to the 1800s, basically 1897. And that was roughly 1 year after the Dow was created in May 1896. So we're going back to over 100 and something years, 120, 130 years ago, where we actually saw the Dow Jones up over 14 days in a row. We got to make that happen. We have to make that happen. I mean, I'm really hoping the Dow Jones actually breaks this record and pushes up another green day tomorrow. So Fed approves hike that interest rates will be higher 25 basis points, highest level in more than 22 years. So during the news conference, Chairman Jerome Powell said inflation has moderated somewhat since the middle of last year. We live streamed the entire press conference, but hitting the Fed's 2% target has a long way to go. And still, he seemed to leave room to potentially hold rates steady at the Fed's next meeting in September. And he says, and I quote, "I would say it's certainly possible that we will raise funds again at the September meeting if the data warranted. And I would also say it's possible that we choose to hold steady, and we're going to be making careful assessments, as I said, meeting by meeting." So they'll be looking at the totality of the incoming data. So this really doesn't help us at all because we were listening on the press conference together. I was live during that time. And he was about as vague as it gets, right? He said we could raise interest rates if we deem that to be appropriate, or we could choose to do nothing and pause interest rates if we deem that to be appropriate. So literally no help. Like, you're not providing us any help with that statement. You're not giving us any guidance as to what the plan is. And then also when it comes to specific inflation numbers, unemployment numbers, economic data, like there wasn't any specificity in his sort of statements, and it was just, yeah, we're gonna look at the data in totality and we're gonna make a decision meeting by meeting. So literally, we have no idea. Like that's the bottom line. We have no understanding on what the Federal Reserve is planning to do, even though their SEP does suggest maybe one more potential hike. But it all depends on the data that's coming in over the next 8 weeks when it comes to inflation, unemployment, and economic reports as well. And basically, Joe Bross, wow, that's quite an interesting last name. But I'm just gonna say Joe from the U.S. chief economist at RSM says, and I quote, "It is time for the Fed to give the economy time to absorb the impact of past rate hikes. And with the Fed's latest rate increase of 25 basis points now in the books, we think that the improvement in the underlying pace of inflation, cooler job creation, and modest growth are creating conditions where the Fed can effectively end its rate hike campaign. And the committee will continue to assess additional information and its implications in monetary policy. And the echoes a data-dependent approach as opposed to set schedule, and virtually all central bank officials have embraced in recent public statements as well." So this right here was the state of the market. Google here rallying over 5.5%. We had Microsoft selling off, Oracle, Adobe, Broadcom, AMD, Texas Instruments, so a lot of semiconductors and chip stocks selling off here, with consumer cyclicals slightly down, energy was slightly down, basic materials, financials, all of them pulling back here. And of course, Meta did rally after hours, up a little bit over 6%. And the sectors that did do well, once again, were financials, real estate, industrials, and again, some of those more defensive sectors that were pushing higher. Comm services, obviously on the back of Google, did incredibly well. But over the last 1 week, again, you'll notice that energy, utilities, materials, consumer defensives, comm services, those are the ones that are actually pushing higher. And over the last 1 month, we did have financials, materials, energy, cyclicals, all these sectors, once again, kind of rallying. Cocoa prices and orange juice for the win. Coffee, soybeans, wheat, all these prices going higher, with rough rice, ethanol, lean hog sugar prices, and gasoline also pulling back, with Bitcoin almost back up to 30,000 again, and Ether just trading a little bit over 1,800 as well. So going back over to first thing, crude oil, almost getting up to $80 a barrel for the month of July. This thing is up over 12.8, almost 13%. So that's not good news, because that, again, is going to put some pressure on inflation once again as we get that June report in July, as we get that July report in August, because of the fact that it's up so much. That could put an impact, could put upward pressure on inflation. So resistance is going to be at $81 a barrel. So that's the level to really be paying attention to over here for crude oil. Going over to Bitcoin. Excuse me, again, we're seeing a lot of consolidation, just a little bit under 30,000. So again, resistance is going to be at 31,600. So this right here is going to be that level to watch for Bitcoin. Support level is going to stay roughly at 28,300 for BTC as well. So we're seeing a lot of consolidation for this commodity, for this crypto basically. And again, resistance is going to be 31,600. If you do get a breakout past that level, I do expect more potential upside. And of course, that demand supply dynamics, that's really what's important here. We don't have an intrinsic value on Bitcoin. That's really what's going to help a lot of these other crypto miners to push higher as well. So Ether resistance going to be at 1925 all the way up to as much as $2,000. So those right there are going to be a couple resistance levels to watch. Right now, still a lot of consolidation inside that range for Ether, and support level is going to stay put roughly at around 1835, 1837 for Ethereum as well. So lots of consolidation at those levels. Now going over to the actual market, S&P 500. By the way, Enphase reports earnings tomorrow, so I'll probably end up doing video on them later today or early tomorrow. But starting with S&P 500, it continues to grind its way higher. It's basically trading flat right now, but a green candle does suggest there were buyers present intraday. And resistance and target is going to be 46.23. So this right here is going to be that level to watch right now for S&P, and support level stays put at 44.50 for the S&P as well. Talking about the NASDAQ, and again, IXIC, we did see a little bit of a pullback and a dip. And right now, we're just consolidating sideways. And this right here is going to be that support level to watch for the NASDAQ, of course, sitting roughly at 13,900, close to 14,000. And resistance and target is going to all be all the way up to 14,600 for NASDAQ as well. Apple just trading sideways, not really doing anything. Earnings are coming up here very soon in August, so that's going to be quite interesting. Resistance is going to stay put roughly around 194, 195. So that right there is going to be that resistance. Support level at that 21 EMA, close to $190 for Apple as well, and support all the way down to 177 for this company. So we're seeing a lot of consolidation here. That 21 EMA continues to validate that support, pushing higher very nicely, but resistance is going to stay put at 194 to 195 for Apple. And like I said, that 21 EMA sit roughly at 190 is going to be that support all the way down to as low as 177. So a consistent move higher, very nice uptrend. But the question is whether we see a breakdown similar to what we saw for Amazon, because right now you'll notice that we are starting to see a little bit of a breakdown below that 21 EMA. There's been that negative divergence kind of playing through, and support level is going to stay all the way down to $103, $104 per share for Amazon. So right now we're seeing a little bit of a breakdown, but of course buyers stepped in. So green candle on a red day for Amazon, and earnings coming out in the first week of August as well. So next week, and that's going to be super exciting and important for the market as well, because a lot of big tech companies are reporting numbers. Tesla here, on the other hand, was slightly down, so very, very flat. And as you guys can see, once again, getting rejected at that 21 EMA. Resistance is going to stay put at 275, 276. So that right there is going to be that level to watch. Support level stays put at 240 for Tesla as well. So lots of consolidation sideways for Tesla at those prices. Talking about NVIDIA. And again, you can see that NVIDIA coming down to that support at that 21 EMA at $439, $440. So this right here is going to be that level to watch for NVIDIA. Resistance obviously stays put at $480. Valuations way too high, like 40 times sales. It's just ridiculous for this company right now. And of course, the price to earnings multiple also trading at over 237, price to sales at over 43, almost 44 right now, which I believe is the highest we've seen ever for NVIDIA in a very long time. So if I plug in price to sales, again, you'll notice on a quarterly basis, we are trading at over 44, 43, and it's never really been over 26. So again, that's a pretty expensive valuation for NVIDIA. Talking about advanced micro devices, and again, you're seeing a little bit of that rejection below that 21 EMA. I think AMD might be a very, very lucrative opportunity to be selling puts at closer to $80. That's going to be that strike to watch for advanced micro devices. And right now, a more near-term support is going to stay put at $106, $107 per share for advanced micro devices. So that right there is going to be that support. Resistance all the way up to $130 for AMD. So right now we're seeing a lot of consolidation. Support level, like I said, 106, and fair value and selling put value closer to $80 per share as well for this company. Talking about PayPal, and PayPal here on the day pushing up over 64 basis points. We're seeing a lot of consolidation, so it's not really moving all that much, but instead going sideways. And that 200 SMA obviously sits perfectly right up top at $74.45, $75. So that is going to be a pretty strong resistance to watch for PayPal. And support level is going to stay put roughly at around this 21 EMA and this previous resistance, and of course this higher low. So all that converges right at $70, $71 per share. So very strong support for PayPal at around those prices. Square, on the other hand, also seeing a lot of momentum. So again, resistance is going to stay put at $83, $89. So this right here is going to be that level to watch for Square. And right now we're seeing, of course, a lot of momentum. Once again, 70 basis points intraday, getting bought up here fairly quickly, but the MACD and the RSI still remain a little bit more on the overbought side. So resistance is going to stay put close to $85, $86, and support level is going to stay put at 70, all the way down to $60, $62 per share for Block. And right now, again, lots of consolidation sideways in and around those prices. They also do report earnings on Thursday, August 3rd. So lots of earnings coming out on that day. Meta Platforms, on the other hand, with a massive breakout of $319 after hours, so getting a huge lift up to that price. And again, we're seeing a lot of momentum here, beat on EPS, beat on revenue, so coming in very, very strong with those numbers. And again, resistance is going to stay put at roughly around 300. Well, actually, this is going to turn into a new support here for the company. And again, we're seeing that breakout past 318. And the next resistance and the next target to watch for Meta Platforms is going to be $350 per share for Meta. So that right there over here is going to be that next resistance and target to watch for Meta at close to $350 per share. Congratulations to all Meta shareholders. Talking about Netflix, and Netflix here on the day down about 1% here. Again, just coming down to its support at 410. So this right here is going to be that level to watch as a support at roughly 410, 415 for Netflix. And of course, resistance is going to stay put at 458 for this company as well. Talking about Google, and Google here on the day up over 5.5% on the back of some very strong numbers and earnings coming out. As I pointed out in my yesterday's market update, 131, 132 is a resistance. And as you guys can see, that we were just basically consolidating sideways at those levels. We're not really going anywhere, but instead we got rejected. So as soon as we caught tapped at that level, then we started going sideways and consolidating a little bit. So 127 is going to be that support level for Google, and resistance all the way up to 131, 132. Finally, we got Microsoft with a brutal day, selling off over 3.7% here, breaking down below that 21 EMA. I have no doubt, I'm pretty confident that Microsoft could potentially come down to $322. So this right here is going to be that support level to watch for Microsoft. And resistance is going to stay put at 351 for this company. Finally, we got Shopify and Enphase. And Shopify here also getting a little bit of that rejection at $65, $66. So next support really is going to be down to 54, Valuation is a little bit too high. We don't have an intrinsic value yet because the company's not profitable. So resistance is going to stay put at 65, support down to 54. And finally, we got Enphase that does report earnings tomorrow. Resistance is going to be 188, support at 151. So we're just pretty much trading in that range, basically trading sideways, so not really going anywhere. But earnings tomorrow are going to be super important. Maybe I'll do a video separately going over Enphase's earnings and what the price action might look like after the company reports earnings tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and a complete update on the markets here. Make sure they drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. Don't forget 16% annual discount for the Discord that's available until the end of this month, and the flash sale, which is the coupon code launch for the options course, currently 50% off as well. If you want to take advantage of that, both links are going to be down below. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.